going on, everybody? This is Old Newbie from the Old Newbie VR show, where we talk about VR from the business perspective. Now, something happened this week. On October 14th, HTC launched their new Vive Flow. Now, the Vive Flow is a new head-mounted display product that's coming to market, and it's got a very interesting little niche in the market that it's aimed for. So what we're going to do right now is we're just going to check a look at the intro video, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it, and then we're going to talk about the actual presentation that Vive gave on this, because that was also pretty unique. So first things, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual Vive Flow launch video. So let me pull that up right now, and we will dive right into it. All right, there you are. So what we have right here is the Vive Flow, and it's going to retail for $4.99, and it's on pre-order right about now. But let's go back to the actual Vive Flow. All right, and here you can see the Vive Flow right there. Now let's watch the video. All right, so you saw that. So let's talk about what we saw real quick. What you saw there was the Vive Flow, and right off the bat, what I noticed is that this is definitely not a business or an enterprise type of headset. This is aimed specifically for the home consumer. As you can see, it was a lot of work from home type stuff. It was a lot of relaxation. It was lying in bed, and it's one of those things. It's very strange market that they're aiming for here with this Vive Flow. It's not corporate, and it's not here to compete with high-end VR. It's actually something that's in the middle, where you can just put it on your face and you can relax, you can watch videos. It's taking a small segment of VR's functionality and just applying it to a very small and lightweight headset. So let's take a look at the specs real quick, just so we can talk, because I just mentioned about how it compares to normal VR and AR. So we have the price there, and you can see right there it says phone compatibility. So this was made to work with your phone. Lightweight, glasses-like, and foldable, like you saw in the video. There's the memory and the storage, It's very ultra lightweight. Resolution is only 1600 by 1600 per eye. That's much less than all of the recent headsets that have come out for VR lately. That's more along the lines of the, if we want to keep it HTC, the HTC Pro 1. Not the Pro 2, the Pro 1 had that type of resolution, so it's not a very high resolution. Field of view is 100 degrees. Fresh rate 75 hertz, so that's less than the 90 hertz industry standard that's needed for VR. External power source, so that's another kind of letdown. You saw that little dangly piece in the back. This thing actually needs to be powered externally, and I think it does that through that connection that was in the back. So there may be some power that's on board, but it looks like it needs to connect to a battery pack in order for it to, be able to function for a significant amount of time. So that's a huge letdown for something that's supposed to be lightweight and portable. You still have to have a battery pack. So that's kind of a strange functionality that they have in there. And something that we saw there is, in the video, we had the lady that was using it, and she was using her phone with it to interface with the glasses. And as you can see here, for controllers, it says use your phone as a controller. So once again, we're limiting functionality only to a phone to be able to control the device. So as you can see, this is a very, very slim amount of functionality that this thing has. Okay, and this is another key point here, pass-through. So yes, this thing supports pass-through. As you can see in the picture, there was two tiny little cameras up front, right where your eyes would be. So this actually has a type of pass-through. So it has, I would assume it has augmented reality functionality. So you can actually see the environment. In addition to being able to go fully virtual, this thing also has an augmented reality. And so as you can see here, it says supports video pass-through for environmental awareness. So I would assume here that this thing is doing some type of AR functionality. Two cameras, inside out tracking, obviously, so it's not using external tracking, it's using its own internal tracking. And it connects with Bluetooth 5.0 and USB-C. So just looking at this device and looking at its functionalities, looking at its capabilities, and looking how they had that promo video and what it was aimed for and the market that it's aimed for, this is a very, very narrow and niche product that HTC has launched here. And it's left a lot of the industry scratching their heads. If you look at my previous video, and I'll link it up here in the description in the link box, I talked about the TikTok of VR and how we are currently in a TOC, which is an improvement on normal VR functionalities, and we're right on the precipice of a TIC, where there's a whole bunch of new VR capability that's going to be coming to the market. This particular product doesn't quite scratch that itch, and it lets a lot of people scratching their heads like, who is this device intended for? And just looking at the functionality, what I think, and this is just my prediction, I think this was HTC trying to get out ahead of an impending Apple product. Now, we don't know anything about Apple, and Apple's about to release an Apple VR type device. They've been very hush-hush about it. But I think this is HTC trying to get ahead of the release of that Apple product, which I think is going to be something similar to this. I think that Apple product is going to be aimed for the personal type of device, which is what this HTC product seems to be leaning toward, a personal type of device that you can use to watch videos, to relax, and those types of well-being type of applications. I think that's what the Apple VR AR device, when it does come out and when we do find out about it, I think it's going to look very similar to this. So I think this was HTC trying to get their foot in the door and trying to get a hold of that market share before Apple comes out with their device. So how do I think that this product is going to do? I don't know. I think the market for this is a little too niche. HTC has already got a bunch of products out already. They've recently launched the Pro 2. They've recently relaunched the Focus 3, and that's in addition to the HTC Cosmos and the Cosmos, the different versions of the Cosmos. And then they just released the new 3.0 tracking devices. They've just released the face tracker. They have got a lot of products on the market out right now, and I think they're kind of flooding it. It's one of those cases where they're doing a whole lot, but not focusing very well. It's focusing very well on a particular product. And using that word, I think HTC should focus on the HTC Focus 3. That was probably the best product that they've released recently that has the most application. And I think that is probably one of the devices that would compete with the likes of Facebook's Oculus and any product that Apple comes out. I think HTC really needs to focus on a particular product rather than trying to release a bunch of products to address a bunch of market segments. They need to focus on one particular product and do that one thing well. So, man, this video is kind of going on. There's a lot to say about this, but one of the things that I actually wanted to hit was how they launched the product. Now, this is completely far and away different from the actual product itself, but I think it's something that they did do well. And that was they used VR to launch the product. So what they did for this event, for the Vive Flow, was they actually had an app using the Engage, and that particular application was a VR conference. And so what I did was I actually joined that conference for the launch of this device in VR, and they launched it in VR rather than doing like a YouTube launch where they do it live in 2D. This was in 3D in VR where they launched the product. And so I'm just going to show a short little clip of HTC and my attendance at the Vive Flow launch event. So let's go ahead and pull that up real quick. So this is me at the launch event. This is me sitting in my seat with my VR on, and you can see all of the attendees here at the event virtually. And we're watching the intro for the Vive Flow. Pretty neat, huh? So I was there virtually with a bunch of people. We were all watching the intro to the HTC Vive Flow. So I'm going to fast forward here. So there it is, Vive Flow, and you can see they've got this nice little environment. They've got virtual representations of the actual Vive Flow. And you can see they just kind of went away.
With all those cool features in such a small package.
There was the presenters right there.
Well, the good news is in VR, you can all have one right now. It doesn't have to look great on your face. Now I know how it feels to be Oprah for just a moment, which is the magic of VR. Feel free to take a selfie in VR for your social media. I'll do the same. As the opening
Okay, so I wanted to stop it right there. That was pretty cool. And so I won't go into the full thing. What you saw right there is them doing the launch for the Vive Flow in VR. And what was cool about that, you saw they had like the rotating devices there. They just had them like holograms that were there showing you the image of the Vive Flow. And then when the presenter came back on, he was like, here, you can have a preview of it. And then virtually everybody had the Vive Flow devices on their faces. And you saw me looking around at the other attendees at the virtual convention, and they all had the Vive Flows on their faces. That's one of the incredible things that you can do with VR in a VR conference. the sky's the limit. It's up to your imagination. And you saw there, he said, if you want to take a selfie, and then suddenly everybody had like an iPad in their hands where you could actually take your own selfie in VR. So that was one thing that I think HTC did really well, was that they launched the device in VR, and we were able to attend the launch of the device in VR. And the presentation went on, and they actually had like a little, they went through all of the videos. They had them there on the big screen. And then they also actually had like a little music number, and the environment's changing and all that stuff. It was pretty awesome to be there, and the sense of presence that was there was pretty great. So I'm going to go ahead and shut her down. That was the Vive Flow launch, and those were my initial impressions. You got the chance to see the specs for it, and you also got to see the launch. So that's all we have. And so, like I said in previous videos, we're on the verge of a bunch of new VR products being launched. Some of them, like this Vive Flow, are going to be going to try to address parts of the market that that are unique. But I think that there are also going to be a lot of new VR products that come out that are going to just blow our minds, just like the HTC's Pro 2 and the Focus 3 with their amazing resolution and the refresh rates up to 120 hertz. We are going to see a bunch of new products that are coming out real soon that are going to just completely blow us away with their functionality. All right. Well, that's all I wanted to hit today. Like and subscribe, and we will see you again in VR. So with that, I am going to let the music play me out of here.